My beginning in esports began in 2008 when I got my first computer. And pretty much the first game that I played because of my brother was StarCraft 2. And I'm living in Cologne, therefore he had contact to ESL events, which then I also visited, and I watched a lot of videos from it. And because my first game happened to be StarCraft, which is an esports game, I kind of got into it and I was able to improve and therefore fully transition into esports. I like competitive games, and back then there were not a lot of competitive games. There were some team games, and I just had fun playing a strategy game and also a competitive one-on-one game. I never wanted to become a pro gamer. I only got into it because of my location here in Cologne. I visited several events, including Blizzard events in Cologne or also the Gamescom. And during these events, I visited some other pro gamers from Warcraft 3 and StarCraft Brood War. And they saw some talent in me, so therefore they told me that I should improve. They coached me. That made me a better player, and then at some point I reached a level where I could compete. And that was also the moment I joined my first professional team, and that helped me step up into getting to the point where I was a pro gamer. It all started in 2010 and 11. I was very young, and my level was actually quite good for my age. I wasn't anywhere near pro gamers, I couldn't beat them, but I was among the range where if I just improved a little more, I could get there. And they saw that in me, especially young people always are the ones that can improve fast. They are very proud. I've never had a problem with them because I was doing my school just fine in the meantime. It was never an issue for me. Yeah, they follow my matches nowadays every time online because the broadcast is more accessible than it was years ago. So now they pretty much always watch if I have a big tournament. I'm very proud to be a part of a huge name team. Since in StarCraft 2 it's quite hard to find big teams nowadays, so I'm very proud of being one of the only ones, pretty much. Yeah, that's what I'm doing it for. I appreciate everybody tuning into my games and cheering for me. I like to entertain people with my games, and I enjoy if they like them. That's why I'm doing this. My biggest strength, I would say, is my consistency. I maintain a good schedule for practice, a good tournament schedule, and a very good mindset as well. I don't have any up and downs. I pretty much always have a great consistency, and I can pretty much always play on my level, which a lot of pro gamers can't, so I'm very happy about that. My biggest weakness, on the other hand, I've never really reached that big of a peak, I would say. It's very hard in StarCraft 2 nowadays. And I'm also sometimes a little lazy to practice. And I might not be focusing on the best practice for me. So sometimes I just lose the focus a little bit, and therefore I can drop out in a tournament quickly. First, you have to pick a game that is competitive. So like a game where you can actually become the best player in the world, not a single player game. And then the best thing to improve is consistency. So playing the game not necessarily 10 hours in a row, but like 2 hours per day or something like that. So more wide, more constant schedule. And then the biggest issue for a lot of people is that they just play for fun If you really want to become better at the game, then you don't just play for fun. You try to improve by watching better players, and you try to improve by thinking constantly about the game. You don't just enjoy the game, but you're also thinking about what you did wrong, what your enemy did wrong, what you can improve therefore, and yeah, you can get ideas from better players as well. Stuff like that is very important on becoming a better player. For StarCraft 2, you need good hand-eye coordination. It's very similar to playing piano, but at the same time you also have the right hand who's doing the mouse. So you kind of have to play like on a piano, at the same time move the mouse. So you have to have good eye-hand coordination. That's the biggest thing in StarCraft 2. How to get into StarCraft 2 is actually quite easy. You can learn the game by just playing either the campaign, which has some tutorials here and there that might help you, or you can go straight into like one-on-one against the AI. You will learn by adapting from like the AI's play, but the most important thing is mass gaming, so play as much as you can, because otherwise you're not gonna learn the game. So you need to learn everything. You need to learn everything about the units, about the spells, about how the game works pretty much, and you can only do that by practice. After you've learned all of that, you can try to get more quality by playing less and more consistent and thinking about the game more. Copying pro gamers is one of the best things to get the best strategies and improve at the same time. You can also ask questions to pros, or you can just watch any pro game and you will definitely learn something after learning the game itself. Yeah, speed is actually not everything. It's more, like I've already said, it's like you can build up speed very easily. It looks like you're playing a crazy game, whereas you could play a terrible game, but you can make it look like a pro game. So I wouldn't say it's speed, it's more like speed plus what actually happens in your brain. That's very important. Your actions that you have in your brain that you can utilize. That's the most important thing. So even a slow player can make much better plays. So speed is not as important. No, not really. I'm always fine with nerfs. I don't really care about my result. The reason like it's my choice to be a pro gamer, and if I'm unhappy about something, then I quit or I do something different. But I'm not the kind of guy that gets nervous because of any kind of pressure. And yeah, that's why I don't feel any pressure. Maybe when I started, I was a little nervous here and there. I had some matches where I was definitely nervous. But after playing and gaining more experience, it's not that bad anymore. And nowadays, I don't care about it anymore, and I just focus on the game. It's more like going to the office for me nowadays. For me, a good design for a mouse is simpleness. Having it as simple as possible, not a lot of keys that you can press in a mouse. Just a very simple mouse is most of the time what's good enough. Of course, it's quite noticeable, the difference between a mouse nowadays and back then. It's definitely very important, since also like in monitor settings and stuff, like the difference between 60 Hz and 144 is quite huge, and I guess that comes true with the mouse as well. With better mice, you can definitely have a much better game experience, and it's actually very important at very high level. For me, a good keyboard is not a simple one as always, so no extra keys is very good. But for me, for a keyboard, it's very important to have a 10 kilos keyboard that isn't that big, because the smaller your keyboard is, the better you can adjust your setup. So if you have a small keyboard, you have more room, to move pretty much. For example, if I had a bigger keyboard, my hand position would be different, since now my mouse pad is on the edge of the right side of my keyboard, and if my keyboard was bigger, then my entire hand position would change, which I can't allow to happen because I'm used to the one that I have currently. A hardware sponsor is one of the most important things for a pro gamer. Having to choose from a lot of different products and testing all of them is always great, which is most of the time a big effort if you don't have a sponsor. And Razer in this case has a lot of different products that are very good quality. So I'm sure that in this case, every pro would be able to find something. And therefore, it's a big benefit to have a hardware sponsor.